What's up, guys? Looking to create a new account with William Hill? For the first $50 you deposit, you receive a $150 bonus bet or have your initial deposit matched. Inbox me for details. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of The Locker Room. I am here with a fighter that I recently found out about, probably about 6 months ago. He won his UFC debut, Tyson Pedro. What's going on, brother?
Not much. Happy to be on here. Thanks for having me.
And where does the Pedro come from, the last name? Am I saying that right? Is it Pedro? Is it just whatever?
The side of family in America, they say it's Pedro.
Yep.
I still say Pedro over here. I'm not too sure where it comes from.
Pedro.
I'm American Samoan, so
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the Spanish probably came through there somewhere through the line.
Oh, yep. Because I was like, I thought Latino or something like that, but then obviously, you're an Islander, so you're...
I've been getting heaps of Mexicans and Spanish people hitting me up online saying that they're
mad.
my friends. So
a whole new fan base.
Yeah, everything. Everything.
That's mad, because you can kind of appeal to both fan base, and then you've got Australia, and then you've obviously got America. So you'd be Samoan then, like American Samoan?
Yeah, and my mum's full Aussie.
Okay, sweet. And so...
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you know what's crazy is I look like a wog, but my sister's a blonde hair, blue eyes.
Oh, really?
So I don't know what happened, but something happened somewhere. And maybe it was a few generations ago, but because my mum's sister is blonde hair, blue eyes, but she looks like a wog. And me and my brother look like a wog, but my sisters look Aussie as.
Yeah,
so
Tyson of us and my brother-in-law just had a baby with my sister.
Yep.
And they're both dark-skinned.
Yeah.
And they're my nephew now. They're blonde hair, blue eyes.
Really?
Yeah. Because
wow,
his mum's white and my mum's white.
And so that wow, that's great. The kid's gonna be looking around.
He's
like
got
that
all his cousins. Everyone's dark-skinned, and he's gonna be like,
"Am I at the wrong family barbecue?"
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, how have you been? You had your second win, and it was quite emphatic. It was, it's one thing to win in the UFC. It's another to your first fight was dramatic and your second fight was a really unique finish. And I don't have the exact stat, but I think you were made aware of it after the fight. It's only been happened once or twice that it's finished like that.
I think it was 6 times. Ariel Helwani came in, got me with that stat that I didn't know about. So tried to get me.
You know what it is? I wanted to ask you, what's it like speaking to her? Ariel Helwani is like the man of the people.
Yeah, it's like the reason why I wanted to come on the podcast, because I always watch Joe Rogan. So meeting guys like that's pretty cool. But yeah. He still made me look like an idiot with the stats.
He loves it though.
Do you know the names? I was like, I have no idea what the names are.
But the thing is what I liked about it is that that made you appeal more to the common guy, because you're like, man, I go in there, I fight, and I kind of get out of there. Whereas sometimes you can be a bit like, you can have a bit of distance between you and the fighter because he's so ingrained in the kind of culture of the whole thing.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know what it is. I've just never really I watched a lot of the beginning fights, or if there's like a big fight that I know that I want to come up, or someone I really like, or someone goes, it's a mad fight, then I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the fights, I don't really watch it.
So I probably watch more than you watch.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. And it's just like, you're so good at it. And it's weird like that you can be. Is it a fact that you're just, not that you're over it, is it the fact that you train so much that you want to get away, or is it just that you have other interests?
I don't know.
Or you're just a Netflix guy.
Netflix. Love Netflix. A big movie head. But I don't know. I don't even really watch much sports. If I'm going to watch rugby league, it's only because I watch like Dallin, Lesniak and Malachi, or who I grew up with and stuff like that. I just don't watch much sport, I guess. I play it all.
Yeah.
Just don't watch much.
That's weird.
It's like Michael Jackson, I guess. When Michael Jackson said he doesn't listen to other music because he doesn't want it to taint his... No,
you
just compare myself to Michael Jackson.
The greatest of all time. Okay, so take us back. Were you grew up obviously in Australia, in Sydney?
Yep.
And so was it footy for you? You're what, 6'4"?
Yeah, 6'4".
So 6'4". So you're, footy scouts and that would have been like, please play footy. What was it like for you growing up as a kid?
My mum never liked contact sports. She's like
chose MMA.
Soccer, tennis, all of that. But I grew up with my dad, who grew up training with my dad. We started in karate and martial arts.
Okay.
So then we went to Dad was really hard with the martial arts and stuff like that, and then my mum wanted soccer, so I was always playing some sort of sport, volleyball, everything. I've tried everything. Then eventually got rugby league when I was about 12, I think.
Yep.
Had a bit of a break from martial arts, and then went back to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and boxing. So that's when I started doing combat sports again. Mum still hates it.
Really?
But that's when I was...
Does she watch your fights, or she can't do it?
Can't do it at all.
Yeah,
goes to the shops. If she can hear it in the house, even the interviews, she probably won't be able to watch this because I'm talking about fighting.
Really? Wow. I mean, do you have kids?
No.
I don't have kids either, but I can imagine your kid.
Yeah.
This is the thing that you see as a baby. Like, you're always going to see it as a baby. It's going in there in the most violent sport in the world.
Getting punched in the face for a living. So she hates it. She was like, you could have done anything. Schooling, because my mom's a school teacher, so she really wanted me to go towards education. The school side.
Yep.
But which she was like, she was really hard on schooling. I went to selected schools. I went to St. Mary's Senior High.
Oh, wow.
So, but she always was like, you could have done anything. I wanted you to be a doctor. I hated studying. So
yeah, so do I. I can't do it, bro. I just can't do it. My brother's a doctor.
Yeah.
And I used to come home and he would get up in the morning at like 4 and study. This is when he was doing his pre-med and medicine. Studied from 4 in the morning till like probably 6 the next morning. Like study benders.
Yeah.
Like what?
So that's the same thing. Like the way it's just what you love, I guess. Because he was able to do that, but with fighting, I could go all day with fighting.
Oh, really? So you could train all day. You love it that much.
So obviously not 100%, but you can do like learning and skill-based stuff. So even when I was in Jackson's, it was like three sessions a day or 2 sessions a day.
You loved it?
Yeah, awesome.
Are you gonna? I mean, we'll get to that. Okay, so you grew up playing all kinds of sports, so you're obviously naturally athletic. But you know how there's some kids that they're going to be professional sportsmen. Like, for example, when I was growing up, everything in my life was built towards being a professional athlete. Yeah. Was that for you similar to you, or no, not really? You just did it for fun?
I think so. Like I always knew that I wanted to do something professional sports, like some sort of professional sports. I always wanted to, and I always wanted to do something big. Like even when I'm at school, I was like, it didn't matter what it was. I just wanted to, I don't know.
It had to be big kind of thing.
Yeah. So and not really for the fame or anything. I just wanted to feel like I made a change or something. Like I don't know. I didn't like the normality of just cruising through. So
100%, I'm the same, bro. Like and it's weird because it's not like you don't feel better than anyone else at all. That's the last thing on your mind. But if you're doing something normal, it feels like you're wasting your opportunities or whatever, chances to do something great. So when was the kind of, so you would have been at a fork in the road, I guess, maybe when you were 14, 15.
Yeah.
When was the choice of because it would have been 10 years ago, and MMA was just beginning to kind of on the internet build a little bit.
Yeah.
Was that the reason you went into MMA, or was it because you loved it? You just loved jiu-jitsu?
I was actually watching MMA before it got was mainstream at all, because Dad owned King of the Cage in Australia. So,
really?
So I was opening the cage door for James Tahuna and Tony Bonello and stuff like that, and I was always at fight nights setting up the cage. So
so you were part of it, kind of thing.
So that in itself, pioneers of the sport beforehand that got in and started MMA in Australia.
Yeah. And this was before anyone did it. Anyone did it.
When they were still making up rules, they didn't even really know what was sanctioned.
Was it when people still one guy would have a glove and the other guy would wear shoes and stuff?
It was when Dad had a show at Penrith Panthers. Actually, I think it was out in that tent that they had the pavilion, and we were New South Wales wasn't allowed to have the cage walls. So Dad just took off the cage walls and left this platform off the ground and had people with the bumper bags standing around bumping people on if they were coming close to the edge. So it was, man.
Goddamn barbarians.
We won't break the rules, but we're just going to go around them.
Yeah, find a way to get it done. So where did the love for it, where did your dad find this passion for this sport that was kind of just forming? Because we look at it now and we're like, that's MMA. But back then, you couldn't sit there and be like, that's MMA. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dad was born and raised in Oceanside, California.
Okay.
So he was training and doing martial arts, and it was a bit more defined when it was in the States. So he sort of brought it over here, and he was still doing bare knuckle fights and stuff like that on the ground. And then then he came over before even everyone knew. So I'd started in Japanese jiu-jitsu. So he's got I think 7 black belts in 7 different styles.
Wow.
And so he's been doing some sort of martial arts his whole life as well.
And so was his passion for it because there was a period there where the passion for MMA came in. Here's a combat art form. Here's a combat art form. Which one is the best? Was that when he was coming through, or was it a bit after that?
Yeah. Probably because I think it was just all martial arts he loved, because he was doing our knees, so we did weapons and stuff like that. So
okay, yeah,
you're not going to bring that in the cage, but
it was sword fighting and killing people with guns and shit.
But I always knew I was going to do combat sports. So when I was 16, I was year 11, I think, and I started doing amateur boxing, and I really wanted to make a run for the Olympics, amateur boxing Olympic team.
Wow.
So I was training out of Blacktown Hit Squad, and yeah, that's when I really wanted to do it, and I
Yeah.
had some funny fights then because like even when I told Dad that I wanted to start boxing, he didn't want me to do. He was like, I've already done it, and it's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why. Like for a long time, Dad didn't want me to do it. He was like, I've already made that run in my life, and he goes, it's not really the
not
direction
worth
I want.
it.
Exactly. He goes,
Yep.
beating up your body for that whole time. But when I told him, he goes, okay, if you want to do it, let's do it. Actually,
Yeah.
he's going to hate that I'm going to tell this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
Yes, yes.
I won't
yes.
tell the full thing,
Okay.
but because he always gets angry. He goes, why don't you remember all the stories where I was holding you as a baby?
nice
He goes, you
stories.
always want to tell the bad stories. It's like, they're the ones I remember really clearly. So we go, I was training at EFG, James Sahuna, Stevie Ashby, Brad Morris, they're all there, pioneers of MMA, and we were in the boxing ring, and Dad had a fight coming up, like a boxing fight, and he goes, all right, all I want you to do is just punch me, and I'm going to try and like move my head because I got
So
this
defensive kind of
yeah,
work.
and it was the first time that I think I've ever cracked Dad like solidly. I just threw it, like I just kissed her and hoped for the best.
Yeah.
Bang, cracked him straight on the net, and I saw his eyes glaze, and when my dad gets angry, his eyes go real glazy.
Yep.
So I knew it was on. I started just running around the ring. I was like, Dad, it's me. Stop, whatever.
So
Just
you
son,
did that,
you love me. And I was just like, and then he goes, dink, dink. And I just remember like hitting the guy. I was like,
Why did I do
so,
that?
yeah, and I remember like sort of coming back to, and I was like, oh, please don't be at the gym. Please don't be at the gym. And everyone's standing around the ring, like just pretending like they didn't see anything. Like,
yeah.
And I'm like tears coming down my face already.
Yep.
I looked down, he's knocked out my teeth. Like I've got capped teeth on the front.
no.
My nose is broken. I was like, pick up my teeth, and I was like crying. I was like, step out of the ring, and I go to walk away, and he goes, where are you going? I go, oh, Dad, my teeth are gone. He goes, you still got 2 minutes left on the on the timer. I was like,
Oh my God.
And he just made me stand in there, and he just made me punch him in the face for like the next 2 minutes. I was
Wow,
like,
yeah.
and like he was trying to bite my hands. I was like, yeah, you want to fight? You want to fight? His nose is all busted up. Oh yeah,
Far
so,
out.
yeah.
Fucking
And that's
hell.
when, and then afterwards, when his eyes went back to normal, then we went out the back. He goes, okay, if it's what you want to do. I was like, well, I don't know anymore.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I just got knocked out. That's like the worst thing that can happen.
So yeah.
So that was the perfect lesson of that your dad will always be better and stronger than you for some reason.
That's like people always ask, why aren't you worried or excited or nervous? And I go, because no one's ever going to hurt me as much as my dad did. When I was younger, they'll try. But,
Yeah, they'll try, but it's
and they might. There'll be someone out there that might be able to, but emotionally,
yeah, 100%. The damage of getting knocked out and waking up and then staying in there another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a life lesson. If I ever
Yeah,
if you
for
ever
sure.
saw a life lesson, that's a life lesson.
Yeah.
Because the
And then-
easy option would have been like,
and that's what I think. And like then as a kid, you're going, I think he legit hates me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now looking back on it, he goes, he wanted to know if I could push through and if I really had the fight in me. So
yeah.
look back on that. So, but-
100%, bro. Because like a lot of people, like probably like 95% of kids, or maybe even 99% of kids, would have said no. Like, what are you talking about? And that 1% that says no, I'm going to stay in here and somehow get through this, is the 1% that should be fighting, kind of thing. Far out. That's crazy.
and
So-
that's pretty much what happened in my first fight.
yeah,
In the
you're
UFC.
right. What the hell?
Rock.
Far out. The universe is a weird thing. How it all comes full circle. Get rocked, have to push through it, and then you get the win. Far out. And so when you hit him, was it just like was it supposed to be a sparring session? Like what was it?
Yeah, but I don't really know. I was just hitting him. I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, when you're younger, you thought, yeah, I'm getting a bit confident.
Yeah,
I'm going to throw this one. I think I'm getting fast, connected, and then that was it. But
And it was kind of he would have been like, all right, it's time for the lesson. That
Yeah.
lesson, it is
100
time. This is it.
okay.
Far out. That's crazy. And what's crazy is like how deeply ingrained that memory is in you about sticking through something. And like it obviously paid dividends, you know. It obviously has paid dividends. You're in the UFC. That's funny, man. So like it's weird because like for example, my older brother, he's a doctor, and yet and like physically and everything, like I've been a professional. Like he was a professional sportsman, but like I still see him as the older, stronger brother. And even my father, I still see him as this older, stronger thing, even though physically I should be.
Yeah.
It's just that mental.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever it is.
The same as my little brother. He's
Yeah.
about 105 kilos now, and I think like 6 foot.
Yep.
Strong as an ox, but still put him away.
And if you're watching, I will put you.
100%. He's getting strong, but you can't train your chin.
That's funny. Okay, so when was the moment when so you're training in the gym, you're doing boxing. So you went into boxing before you went into MMA.
So yeah, I did. I was doing boxing, then went to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I met my still coach. He lives in Melbourne, Manol Tavares Tutita. And I was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu before, but then I graded as a young kid, but there's a different belt system when you're younger.
Yeah.
So then once I got older, I just started at white belt again with him. So for my first fight, I was with him. My first, I think it was amateur, but like A class or something. And I was pretty much a good boxer with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yep. So I didn't really understand the concepts of MMA and stuff like that. I still had a good skill set, but I was pretty much a boxer with Jiu-Jitsu. I think that was the second round finish as an amateur fighter, and then I turned pro straight after that.
Okay.
And I didn't have another fight till I went up to Brisbane under Dan Higgins and Adrian Pang at Integrated MMA.
Yep.
And then that's when I think I really started understanding the wrestling for MMA, jiu-jitsu for MMA, that sort of concept. Whereas people go, oh, jiu-jitsu, if you know jiu-jitsu, you know MMA.
Yep.
But it's very different.
It's like MMA jiu-jitsu kind of
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's the same with boxing, it's the same with kickboxing. You can't do certain kicks that you can do in kickboxing that you can do in MMA because you can get taken down. So when I went under them, Dan Higgins, he was under Greg Jackson. And for I think 6 years, and so that's where like I started getting that base to go. Okay, I want to go over there. Like that idea of going to Jackson's as well.
Yep.
So I owe them a lot. Like it's cool because every person that I've met in my life has made some sort of contribution to this moment now. And now I'm training out of Lions with Sully, Sean Sullivan. He was also doing wrestling for the Panthers, and it's moving pretty fast now.
It's for people that are listening. So there's obviously all these different arts of MMA. But for example, you might have a guy that's a fantastic boxer, but a normal boxing stance, they're not heavy on their feet, but you are pretty heavy on your feet because you're trying to plant to throw hard punches. But in MMA, if you plant your feet and you're getting chopped in your leg kick or someone's trying to take you down, that it's like a counter for kind of everything, and that's what the MMA boxing comes in. You might look at a guy like Conor McGregor, like. He stands a specific way in MMA. He won't stand like let's say the MMA where the fight does happen. He won't stand like that when he's fighting. So it's a very different thing. That's true.
And then there's those people like Johnson, OSP, who doesn't matter where they're standing, Mark Hunt, and they're just gonna put you to sleep anyway.
Exactly, 100%.
I'm sorry, is it alright if I run to?
Yeah, sweet, bro. 100%.
Cold water before.
No, I know what the life of an athlete is, bro. Fuck me dead. I used to piss every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I know. Especially when I'm water loading.
Yeah, fuck me. When I used to be an athlete, I used to like get frustrated because before bed I knew that I'd be waking up constantly. And I'd be like, oh my God, please. And
when I'm water loading for the weight cut, it's the worst thing ever, man. Like, especially if you have to drive somewhere or drive to training or get on the plane. I sit there, we're about to take off. It's only been like 20 minutes and I'm going, ping.
Oh my God, 100%.
My phone's going nuts because
I was going to say, you're the most fucking popular man in Australia.
I put up a giveaway just before, this morning, and now, just nuts. If you're giving away anything, everyone's...
You know what I noticed about your Instagram is your ratio to followers to likes is really high. I know you probably don't notice that.
No, not at all.
So, for example, one of your photos is like 2,000 likes and you've got 9,000 followers. I've got 7,000 followers, and I might get maybe 300 likes.
Oh, really?
So your ratio is really good. Something that you probably keep in mind with brands and shit. You can say to them, my engagement is really high. So the people that follow you really follow you and like your shit.
Makes sense.
Yeah, social media, man. Fuck, there's so much to it that a lot.
I have no idea.
Just no idea, man. Like you don't have any idea how valuable your social media is. Oh my God.
Hopefully, I can get someone to take care of it soon because my manager. I'll probably slowly move it over to him because it's just like I try to get back to everyone that messages me, but
it's hard.
After the fight, it took me like 2 weeks to get back to everyone. And if people take out time to message me, I feel like it's nothing for me. I'm not doing much while I'm off camp. So
and also, I mean, you got to look at it like like we were speaking before, and you already realise this, but you're a commodity kind of thing, and if you can look at it like that, like for example, Stone and Wood, the beer Stone and Wood, their Instagram has like. They sell heaps and heaps of beer. Like they're the most popular craft beer in the country. So they sell they're probably turning over $4 million in revenue. So they're huge, and yet they only have 30,000 followers on Instagram. So what I'm trying to say is companies would pay huge amounts of money to have that many followers. So you're not like other beers that are successful and you have like 2,000 or 3,000 followers, and that's a successful beer. And like you're already at nearly 10,000. So to have that amount of followers as if you consider yourself a business, it's quite good.
Yeah, that's hard in itself. Like, because I'm terrible with talking to new people. Like, Like if someone comes up to me, I was like, what do I say? I don't know, sort of thing. And so, like, now that I'm sort of people are starting to know who I am, everyone comes up to me, and I was like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I know. Like, what do we talk about?
The other day, I was just sitting at breakfast, and I locked eyes with this guy, and I was like, I think he recognised me. And then he walks down, and I sort of put my head down, and I saw his legs like go back and forth like 3 times, and then I was like, oh, now I feel bad, and I look up and I was like, hey man, and like I saw he had Snapchat open, and then he sort of like panicked to take the photo with me, so I was just like, he was like, sick fight, and I was like, sweet, and then he just walked away. So I was like, if anyone wants to come up and say hello, but I'm not going to come up to random people because I'm still getting used to it.
The request you should make, and this is something that I you know what I like? I like confident, sharp, quick fans.
Yeah.
So like, how you going, mate? They control the conversation. Because what fans don't realise, like what that guy doesn't realise, is you're just as nervous as he is.
Yeah.
You're not used to this yet. So it's like all new to you. It's new to him. And like you're both in this awkward situation of not wanting to be rude to each other.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Like he didn't want to I think he didn't want anyone to hear like that he was asking or anything. Yesterday I had this like 18-year-old kid. He was wearing his Roosters gear. Hello, so thanks for coming up and saying hi. He did not care. Group of people who's screaming out in front of everyone. Tyson, ran up.
Young
just want to get a photo. Bing, ran off. I was like, that's the kind of one that I want.
That's the fan you want. You want that. I used to love fans. They just walk straight up, confident, and they'd be like, mate, love what you do. Boom, shake their hand, and then walk off. And you're like, I love that. It's so easy. Whereas like when they're like, the worst ones are those ones that are like,
because I don't know who's creeping. Is it me or you?
And you know what's weird is like, and I know it's bad, but and you've probably got it out of your system because you're training so much now. But sometimes I get guys where I'm like, is he trying to like snort?
Exactly.
Was he trying to snort?
Yeah, I thought I was going to get into a fight at Mount Druitt because this guy was following me, like going, like eyeballing me.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, we're in a fight now. And I didn't know if he knew who I was or like if he was just following me. And then he comes up and he goes, mad fight. I was like, oh, I was like, get it ready.
You had your hand like sitting there ready to go. And then, like, why are you going to be so aggressive about it? Like, why did you have to be like so kind of aggressive? And it's weird, because especially with guys, like you just don't know
what kind of person
what's going what's going on right now. Like, is this guy being it's weird, so weird. And then you don't want to be rude either. Like,
no, for sure,
you don't want some guy to go away and be like,
he was a dick.
Yeah, like, I seen Tyson and he was fully staunching me. But you were thinking that he was staunching you.
That's and that's why the fight that I go in my head why I don't want to talk to people, because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, just be confident. Hey man, how's it going? Love your fight. See you later. Yeah, no, it's weird like that. Obviously you get used to it as you kind of continue to fight. Okay, so when did you know like this was something that you could professionally do?
Pretty much like every coach has told me that that I've had going, man, you could one of the few guys and I'm the same. Like if I see someone that I think is professional, like that's very good, I'll go, hey man, you can do something with this. There's a couple of guys at our gym right now that I go, yep, they've got what it takes, because you can see it. It's not only the skill set, you know that they can learn the skill set and then get there. And I think like every coach has told me, even from a young age when I was training with James Dooner and stuff like that, they've always like gone, man, if you keep at it, you're gonna do good things. And so I've always believed that I was going to get there. And even when everyone was going, oh, how is he in the UFC? I know I'm good enough to be here. I know I've got the talent. Even now, how is he ranked top 15? I know I'm good enough, but no one else has seen it yet. So. And eventually I'll get to show it. Like each one, I'm still holding back a bit. I don't know why when I'm going in the cage. Like even in my last fight, everyone was like, mad fight. But I know I didn't bring out my best performance. And hopefully, I think as the opponent brings out more, it's going to bring out a better version of me. And
I guess just minutes in the cage, minutes in the octagon, it's going to get... I mean, obviously you've had plenty of minutes, but minutes in that UFC octagon,
exactly,
when you just like feel like home and free. It's something that, I mean, I'm sure UFC fighters are so sick of hearing about it, but I swear Conor McGregor's one of his biggest advantages is when he gets in the cage, he is so calm, and it's just, he belongs there. It's all good. Whereas like even when I used to play footy, and I'm sure you're as well, when you get in there, it's not like you're wigging out, but you are very
nervous,
like
but tense and cautious.
Exactly.
Yeah, because and I'm definitely not nervous. I was even worried when I said this a couple of times. I was worried when I was walking out in my last fight because I was too calm. I was out the back with Dad and we were pacing back and forth, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be some sort of, I'm supposed to feel something right now, and just nothing. Like I was like, okay, well let's just go out there and do this, and hopefully it works. But so like I am calm, but if you see me in training, completely different fighter. So like it is my second fight in the UFC, 6th professional fight. So hopefully it'll come.
100%, yeah. Second fight in the UFC, and it's not like you've got, as you just said, 20 fights before the UFC either. So, I mean, hey, we're talking like you're losing.
I'm my hardest critic, so I know when I could do better, and so that's.
I guess that's also like a lot of people, like they sit back and they're like, why is he talking like they've lost or whatever? But that's what makes great athletes great, is that even when they're at the 99% of their potential, they're still like they're still that kind of thing. So okay, so you were always told that you could be professional, but you know there was the issue of finding your way to the UFC, especially in Australia. It's getting a bit better now, but I guess 5 years ago, there's no like what is the direct path? Like for example, the guy we both know, Alex Volkanovski, he was knocking blokes out left, right, and centre, and couldn't get a call. Yeah. And some guys get a call after two. Like, so when was the kind of like, was there a plan in mind? Like, I have to get to the UFC. What was it like?
Yeah, probably. I think before I fought Stephen Warby on AFC, we were like, okay, we're going to have this fight. I was hoping that I was going to have a title fight for Stephen Warby, even though it was only my second big fight in the AFC. And I was like, all right, so usually they ask you for a couple, either an international opponent, a title belt in your own country, and then that's when they'll really look at you. And I was like, all right, I'll fight Stephen Warby, get an international opponent. I was hoping to fight on this AFC coming up in China, and then for the belt.
Oh, so you had planned
to fight for this fight in China that's just coming up.
So you didn't. So your UFC debut was way earlier than you planned, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I planned to be in the UFC by the end of this year. So even that, like people were going, that's too early. But like I had a set of goals, and I wrote down. It was weird actually. This is a weird story. I was reading this book, Think and Grow Rich, and it said write down your goals and truly believe that they're going to happen. I wrote down that I'm going to get the late call up in November for the Melbourne show. And this was 3 months before they had actually planned it in December. And I went up to Sully and I was like, hey man, look at this. I wrote down that I wanted to get the call up in November. And then they changed the date to November. He goes, that's pretty weird. And then the next thing, I get a call going, hey man, do you want to come fight in Melbourne? I was like, well, what show? He goes, UFC. I was like, I'm fully wigged out when I was like showing my wife going, look at this.
I actually wrote that down. I am a mystic.
I even grabbed my phone, took a photo with it with like a date of when I was like, I wrote this beforehand. So
I want to actually try and send us that photo after this because that'd be cool to see.
I have to try and blur everything out because there's other goals on there.
Oh yeah. There's secret plans in there.
There's still plans in the making. So
okay, sweet. I'll just cross. You know that I just do shitty Photoshop job. Squiggle it out. That's. It's so weird because like I'm a very rational person, and obviously you sound similar. You're a very rational person, but there is this weird thing where if you just think it enough, it just seems to happen.
And even with the law of
law of attraction,
the secret, all of that. I'm like trying. I'm like, no, it can't be real.
Yeah, same.
But it doesn't even make sense how I thought about it for so much. I pictured myself having my hand raised in that first fight, and I was like. Then it happened. I was like, "Oh, now I've got to try and."
Now you truly believe it. Now
I'm trying to justify it still.
Okay, so you fought. You had 5 fights before your UFC debut.
I think 4.
Okay, so what was your first professional MMA bout like? I mean, were you nervous? Like, what? How did the whole thing come about? What was the whole process?
I was fighting out of Integrated MMA in Queensland. I think it was on Eternal MMA, and. Pretty much exactly the same thing as all of my other fights. The fight lasted 40 seconds with a KO. It was like
What's the walkout like? What were you feeling like? Were you nervous or not really?
You're sweet, dancing, singing. It's hard to explain because I definitely got nervous. Like when I was younger, I can even remember when I was going for my purple belt the next day. Like my dad told me, like, oh, tomorrow you might die. Like, so I had a panic attack the night before, and my mum's like trying to calm me down and stuff like that.
Tomorrow you might die in, like, choked out.
Who knows? Who knows? Sometimes you just say stuff that you don't even know what it means. So
it's like,
I had like a panic attack when I was a kid, and I do remember getting nervous. And before even in my amateur bouts, I fought this guy, and I think he came like 10 kilos heavy. And
wow.
I was like, I'm not fighting him. And I turned to my coach. I was like, he came way overweight.
10 kilos is a lot of weight.
And my dad was like, "Are you a bitch?" Of course you're fighting him. And I was like, "Okay, I'll fight him."
I guess I'm fighting him.
Yeah, I won that in the first round. But that one, I saw him come out, and he was jacked.
Yep.
Like I was 81, and he was 91, I think, and just huge. And I was like, okay. So
what weight do you fight at now? Is in
93,
kilos,
93 kilos.
90 kilos. And how much is that a pound? 185?
205.
205.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm so bad with that pound thing.
Yeah,
I wish they'd just go to kilos.
Yeah.
Man. So annoying. Okay, so that first fight was your most nervous. It's pretty. So your debut amateur fight, was that against that guy that was 10 kilos over?
No, that was in St. Mary's down here. I was in Melbourne, and I was actually nervous for that one, but for a different reason, because I thought I wasn't going to make weight. Because
and he didn't make weight by 10.
Yeah, well, no, this was for a different one. That was
okay.
amateur boxing. This was amateur MMA.
Okay,
so,
yep.
And my first amateur MMA fight, and I came out. Got on the plane, and we had to weigh in the same day because I couldn't make it to St. Mary's the day before.
Okay, yep.
So I did the same day weigh-in. I didn't eat on the plane, didn't drink, nothing, because I was worried about weight.
Worst prep ever.
I came in at 86 kilos, so I was supposed to be 93.
Oh my!
So,
what the hell?
Yeah.
How could you be that far below?
Just because I panicked, because I had no scales, nothing. So then I went to like the kebab shop, just started smashing food.
Worst
to try
thing you could ever
do. Worst ever. So. But yeah, so still, everything's a learning curve. And it's hard because like you don't learn about that sort of stuff, nutrition and stuff, till you get to the like pro level.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the biggest difference between the states and stuff like that. The high school, college level, they've got like pro teams and stuff set up to teach them how they have to do it. Like in amateur down here, it's where you should sort of be knowing how to do a weight cut and stuff like that. Yeah. Where I'm still just making it up, doing
just whatever,
something,
home jobs. Okay, so it's kind of been the dream run since you debuted, I guess. Like, you know, you debut, and has it all been round one finishes?
Since my first pro fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that's crazy. So, I mean,
I just hate like cardio. There's no I don't want to be in the second round.
Is that something that worries you? Like, as in, I mean, it's weird because you obviously don't hope you go to round 2 and 3, but you're going to need to eventually. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to put yourself in those deep waters, or you're very confident in your ability to go to those rounds.
I think everyone, like, even in the last fight, they go, "Man, that was an easy fight for you." I was like, no, it wasn't. There's no easy fight. Like,
not in UFC.
I train like so hard, like so that when I come in, it is like a relatively, like I train harder than I'm going to go in and fight. Yeah, and I think that's the difference. Like I train for 5 rounds, like every fight.
Oh, okay, really? So you train for 5.
So especially at Jackson's, that's and integrated at our gym, you always 5-5s. So,
okay, yeah.
And because and I'm pretty sure when the guys are having title fights, they do like 6-5, 7-5s, where they have to, because you have to be fitter than what you're fighting for.
Yeah.
So I'm always fit, but it's just a matter of like making sure that the fitness comes on the night. So you can go for 5 rounds, but then you see some people, they're 3 minutes into the first and they already look like they haven't trained. Yeah, so it's weird like that. Especially the nerves are usually the reason it happens. Everything.
So you call up to the UFC. How did it happen? Where were you sitting? What were you doing? And just walk us through that whole process of making your UFC debut. Because the thing is UFC is worldwide now. It's not just MMA here, there. It is one of the biggest sports in the world.
I was cruising around with one of my friends, Fafita. He's cracks me up. But we were sitting in the car.
Well, not Dave, Andrew.
No, it's
or David,
their cousin.
Oh, their cousin. Okay, yeah.
And I got a call from Ty. He was in hospital. We had just fought at AFC, and he did his knee, and so he's still out injured. But we were sitting in the car, and I got a call from him. He goes, "How much do you love me?" And I was like, "Not really. Not much. Depends. What are you calling for?" Because he's usually calling me to stir me up or something, or both of us. We usually stirring each other up about something. And he goes, "Oh, do you want to fight on Melbourne?" Like I said, and I go, "Oh, what card?" He goes, "UFC," and I go, "No way." He goes, "I'm going to put you in contact," because he signed with Zen, who's also Mark Hunt's manager. Yep. And he goes, "He's going to call you in a minute." And then he called me up, and I was just like, we were just looking at each other in the car. I was like, this has to be a prank call.
This is a
like,
yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah.
And then like that was it. Zen called me. Now he's my manager full time, and that was pretty much how it goes. Afterwards, I hung up. I called my dad and I go, "Hey, Dad, guess what? I'm in the I signed with Zen." He goes, "What did you mean?" I said, "I wanted to talk to you before you signed with any managers." And I was like, "Well, he got me a UFC contract," and he just both started screaming. So
really, it was just like, yes, well done, congratulations. Really, fuck, that's
screaming.
sick,
So and then like it was funny because my dad screaming realizes this is the biggest, best thing ever. And I called my mum. I was like, like my wife and my mum.
Yeah.
I called my wife. She was over the moon because she knew how bad I wanted it as well. Then I called my mum and I was like, "Hey, Mum, I got in the UFC." She was like, "Oh, yep." Well, I was waiting because Ty's already in the UFC because Ty signed as well.
Yep.
And she was like, "So, what does that mean?" So like, she gets me every time. And she was, what did she say? She said something. It's like, "Oh yeah." She was like, "So, is that like making the NRL?" And because that's all she can compare it to. My younger brother, and I was like, sort of, but like if you got picked to play for your country or something.
Yeah, 100%.
So now she's starting to understand. Now all the press is coming through and everything, and seeing every day in like the papers and stuff like that. Now she's a bit excited.
Man, yeah, because like it's weird. Like the UFC, we realize how big it is, but then we don't realize how big it is. What other sporting federation is worldwide like that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of it. I mean, there's not really.
And even in Australia, I think we forget because we're still not massive fans.
Yeah.
Like there is that, we do have a fan base.
Building very quickly.
Yeah. But like when you go to the States, you go, okay, we're not fans.
Yeah.
Every single TV, every night, there's some sort of MMA. It's not just UFC. It's whatever. There's local shows playing. There's so.
Yeah. I genuinely believe MMA is the ultimate sport because it has this ridiculous excitement that happens. Like, so for example, highlights. You might watch a highlights of a soccer game and like it's a goal, it's a goal, it's a goal, it's a goal. Whereas like MMA, it's like your highlight is 10 seconds and it's a finish.
Yeah.
And then because of the fast-paced world, it's this perfect crafted content for this type of like world we live in now, which is so quick, it's so fast. So you see the finish, and obviously there's so much more that goes onto it. But
and that's how I try and explain it as well, because there is still like a little bit of a negative sort of.
We'll get past that.
But like even in the media and stuff like that, like Mark, I haven't seen much from him in the media, especially from Channel 7. But then when he got knocked out, they're like, Mark Hunt dropped like a sack of potatoes, and then that's their highlight.
Yeah,
I think like not only the media, but that's Australians, where sometimes we love just giving a little bit like, what are you doing?
100%. It sucks that like they don't show all these wins and stuff. Exactly. They don't talk to him when he's winning, and then he
been in 30 years pioneering the sport. So
that's I mean, that's the media for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God,
I'm not looking forward to my loss.
Not gonna happen, brother. Not gonna happen.
Everyone's going like, yeah, Tyson's the best. We hate you.
You know what? I think with like shows like this, and like obviously it's shows like this. There's no other one in Australia, but they'll eventually grow. But I think this kind of media is a real benefit to guys like yourself, because it's not like that. We don't have to sell papers by being these extremists, like, Tyson gets knocked the fuck out. Like we can break things down and be like, this is why he lost. Or this is, so I think that it's changing. Like I hope it's changing.
For sure. And just understanding the game, like when you, especially Conor McGregor, because he brought along so many fans that it's just amazing, because he brought fans that you'll go to the bar. I don't know if you've been, and there's like a pub or something, and there's like all these Irish fans that it'll be loud as, not watch one of the fights, just drunk. As soon as Conor McGregor comes on, everyone goes shoom, and just watch the screen. So they have no idea about any other fighter, never watched another fight, and then but they can watch him. So that in itself is cool, and I can't wait. Like, because you see Cole Noak, James Tahuna, Elvis, the people that were coming through beforehand, and they didn't really even have Australia's following, because we didn't really know what MMA is. So now that I like myself, for some of the younger generation kids are coming through, hopefully Australia will start supporting us. But I know like 2-3 generations down of MMA fighters, Australia's going to back
100%. And it's just a perfect sport, and it's obviously got your brutal excitement, but there is like mastery and genius kind of tactics that people don't see, all the ins and outs that the educated fan does definitely see.
And the way I try to explain it to, like, even when the media asks or something like that, is the same way I explain it to my mum or my mum's friends. Because they hate martial arts and MMA and fighting. But, like, what they see is two guys going in there and they're going to just punch on.
Scrap,
But, like, when I break it down and I say everything is calculated, every inch, every mistake, everything like that, and every step, every takedown, where I'm putting pressure, people don't look at the fine details. Like, they go, just take him down. Well, I'd love to. Unfortunately, I'm getting punched in the face.
Unfortunately, there's a knee coming towards my head. Okay, so you make your debut. What's something that stood out for you? I mean, especially that was a Melbourne card with Robert Whittaker. Where was it held again?
Melbourne.
Wasn't obviously there was a Ronda Rousey one that was gigantic.
What's the A? Something starts with A.
Amy Stadium or something like that?
Something arena.
So what was it like? What was something?
Labour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was it.
You walked out with an army hat on, and I'm not sure if back in the day it might have been, I guess, normal for people to walk out with that on, but it is unusual now because of Reebok, the sponsor.
Yeah.
Like, why do you wear the hat, and what does it represent to you?
In 2010, my cousin was killed in action. He's from. I have a lot of family in the States, a lot of serving military still. And his mum, obviously, and my dad are still like close and talk a lot. And she sent over a bunch, like his uniform, his hats. I usually have a bracelet that I wear, that like of the day he's killed in action and stuff like that. And when they sent the hat over, they sent two over, and Dad gave me one, and it's got his parachute wings on it, the badge. And I've worn that to every fight, I think, since my first amateur fight. So so I walk out with it every time. Usually Dad wears his, but he's not allowed to wear it in the UFC. I had to get my hat cleared to wear it in the UFC because with the Reebok sponsorships and stuff, I think like a few people wear like hats and stuff like that, but they cleared it pretty quick. Once I told them the story about it, once I told them the story about it and stuff, like there was no dramas. You have to get it cleared every fight, which I didn't know. I thought once it was cleared, that almost got me.
Oh, really?
But and I'm not superstitious or anything like that. Like if I don't have the hat, I can't fight and stuff like that. But I always like wearing it because that's just my thing.
I guess in a moment where you can get a bit caught up in it, it kind of reminds you of what is important, kind of thing. Yeah,
and I'm jumping out, and I think when my walkouts are when I'm walking out, I think the person that walks out happy and stuff like that is very different to the person that steps in the cage. So, and that's my sort of thing. Like, take off the hat and I bow into the cage, and that's when I'm like, bang, we're going now.
Okay. So it's like a ritual for you.
Yeah. So and that's like my switch, I think, because if you don't have that switch and you're always turned on, like you're going always in the fight game, your head's always in the fight game, I think like I'd probably start going crazy. So even when I'm sparring, I do the same thing that I do in the cage. If it's like close to the fight, I'll visualize the whole situation. I'll visualize walking out. I'll wear the same cup, same pants, that's what I would be wearing in the fight. I'll go out, I'll pretend like the crowd's there. I can hear everything, and like you see the whole fight, and so you do the same thing, and with the bow, and now I'm doing the hat, and I'll always wear the hat. So I always get worried because when I leave the hat out on the back, or it's the hat and my mouth guard are the only two things I always make sure I've got in my backpack when I go on the plane, because I can't. I was like, if someone steals my hat, or because a couple of people have jumped on Facebook and goes, and your daggy hat and stuff like that, but don't actually know how much that hat means to me. So if someone just grabbed it thinking that's a cool hat, I'd go off. I'd lose it.
So your cousin, you said?
Yep.
Was he an MMA fan? Like, did he like combat sports, or?
No, not particularly. They're big NFL fans. Yeah. Even my uncle, who he was Viking, so married to his mum. He was a Marine and Vikings fan. He passed away a year later.
Oh, wow.
Same family. So she sent all his Viking stuff. So now in the NFL, I support the Vikings.
Okay, so Vikings, yep.
So that's pretty much how it's been working. So he's not. It was really hard. It was hard because he messaged me about my tattoo when I just got my sleeve done, and he goes, in 2 weeks I'm going to come to Australia and get a tattoo. Can you book it in for me? And
wow.
Yeah, it happens before that. Before
a traditional one as well?
No, not this one. It was just the sleeve. He wanted to come in and get a sleeve. So that was pretty.
Yeah, no,
pretty crappy situation. But now think it's just about making the light of the situation. And
yeah. And what was the initial, like, you know, when you said I want to wear his hat into my first fight, what was the thought process behind that?
I'm not sure. Like, I couldn't really wear the hat like around. Like, I wanted to always wear the hat. I don't know why. It's like I always wanted to wear it. Like
maybe just like a connection.
Yeah, I think pretty much. And like so I always wanted to wear it, and like I was like, oh, people will think it's weird, but then I started wearing it out anyway. So there's some photos that I've got up on my Facebook when I went to Japan. I was wearing that hat, and people going, "What are you wearing?" It was like a normal outfit, and then just an army hat. I was like, okay, well, that's usually someone that you see if they're wearing that, they're a weirdo. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's a crazy guy. Stay away from him. But so like I wore that, and then I was like, okay, well, I won't wear it out as much in public, but I want to wear it to every fight. So that was the thought process behind that.
And speaking of thought processes, the last fight you had, you came out to sexual.
Yeah.
And I seen the interview where America hadn't been released yet in America.
Yeah.
If that isn't the best walkout song ever, so people I might put a little clip of what the song is so that people know what we're talking about, because once you hear it, you'll know.
Yeah.
But only Australians would know how epic that song is. What was the thought process?
Yeah, so when I first heard it, like I wasn't actually. I had it on my first fight as well, and I wasn't actually going to come out to that because there's another one. I was like, maybe that's a bit too
like the debut.
Maybe that's a bit too much. If I come out to that and then just get my ass whooped, then they're going to go, well, you walked out to that song.
Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve every punch you got.
Yeah, so like I heard that song and I was like, nah. Sully is like, man, you're bumping to this every time you come into training. Like, let's get it going. I was like, okay, let's go. Put that on, and everyone loved it. Like, that was the best. I actually, now that I think about it, that was probably one of the best things about Melbourne. If there was one thing that I can remember, there was two things that I can really remember. Walking out, and I could hear like just everyone singing along to it, and I thought, this is cool. And then I heard like one of the guys in the crowd was like, man, I hope this guy can fight. So like I was like, that's cool. And then we're like we walked to the cage, and then the only other thing that I heard, I usually don't hear anything when I'm in the cage, and when I got that punch, I just heard ooh, like it was like a real loud. And then when I went to the States, my manager then goes, hey, I just wanted to let you know, do you know that this song hasn't been released in the States? And I was like, oh, here we go. So I like walk into the office where all like the PR team, everything, they all sit where you get your, and I go, hey guys, has anyone heard of the song Sexual? And all they go, no.
Sexual healing?
Yeah, exactly. And then they go, who's it by? And then they listen to it, they go, I never heard it. Are you really walking out to this? I go, great. So now I'm going to walk out. No one knows the song. They're just going to see this guy dancing with an army hat. Going on. I was like, States are going to think there's something wrong with me. And then afterwards it was bad because they go, well, he walked out to a girl song, and then punched that guy in the face. I like him.
Yeah, 100%.
So now they want me to keep it. Like, I don't know if it's become a tradition.
Did you use it as both?
Yeah, so I was going to change it.
I
was going to change it for the second one because I was like, I don't want to make it a thing where
can't change it now, bro.
Oh man, that's what I mean. I was like worried because it started to move into a thing.
Bro, it has to be. That's a sick thing to have. You're this big 6'4" guy that's finishing blokes walking out to sexual, and you finish two blokes as well. It's not like it's just like
I don't want to be finishing blokes. Known as the guy that listens to sexual finishing blokes.
Bro, you're the one walking out with it. I'm just commentating on it. Fuck, that's funny. That's right. So you the thought process was you listen to it a lot in the gym.
Yeah,
it'll be funny if I use it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I was like we were listening to it all the time. Yeah, dancing in the car. Like if you see like me driving past the car, there's usually me in the car dancing. So
you're listening to Sexual.
Yeah,
fuck, that's fucking funny, bro. That's what a good song to walk out to. Like I can't think of another song as funny and as current as that, you know,
and I just like it's upbeat.
Yeah.
Like, and I hate when you come in and they're like, I'm gonna kill with like,
Eminem or something.
Well, he seems way too angry for the fight. And that's another thing as well. I think when you listen to that angry side, like my thing is like I don't like bringing emotions into the ring, like into the cage ring, whatever. But I don't like going, man, I can't wait to kill this dude. It's like I like being calm, like in the ring, like having that thought process and thinking about everything. So
100%. You get too tense and you're like, you're going for the knockout.
Trying to.
Yeah, 100%. So, what's something that stood out for you? You know, what was the moment where we were like, "Wow, I'm in the UFC"? Was it when you put the gear on? Was it when you?
No, it wasn't until the next morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. sat up, cried a little bit.
Really? Just like happiness?
Just like sat up and I got a bit teary because I was just like, this has been my dream.
Yeah.
Like, and I was embarrassed because my wife was sitting there. She was like, "What are you?"
Dusty Meyer. It's dusty in here.
Nothing. Just shush. Like it was just like it was more like a realization, I guess. Like because everything happened so fast. I was got the call up 3 weeks, had the fight, hadn't stopped training from my last fight in AFC. And then, like, I sat up and just went, okay, now I get to take it all in. I was like, I'm in the UFC. I'm doing what I've been doing at training for 17 years. This is, like, I'm able to bring my whole family. Can only go up from here.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens from here, it doesn't matter if it was a win, loss, or draw. I've gone to do what I love. So, like...
100%. And I guess now you're in a really strong position of, like, you've won your first 2 fights. So no matter what happens, you've bought yourself at least, like, most likely at least another 2 or 3 fights, even if you were to lose all 3 of them.
Yeah.
So you're in a really strong position here. Like to I mean, and also...
But we're going to win this.
Exactly. I was about to say that you're in a strong position to also springboard into like your top 15 right now, top 10, and then who knows from there. Especially with that gridlock at the top of 205 at the moment. You've got obviously John Jones coming back.
Yeah. So I'll probably go back down to 16.
But you got DC Rumble have already fought, and if DC beats Rumble again... then obviously that's kind of like Rumble, what does he get? Where does he go from there? Yeah. And then John Jones, if he beats DC again, it's like, all right, well, DC's never going to beat John Jones.
So like even that Manoa Rumble would probably have to fight, I guess.
Yeah, so there's like and then after that, there's this big gap of like chance for people to fill in that next spot underneath
and people
John
who
Jones.
aren't fighting or people who haven't been around. So there's lots of opportunity in 205. 100%. A lot of people like always say, "Oh, how thin the division is." Fair enough. I had 2 fights. I'm in the top 15. That does show you because there's other people who have 6 fights and haven't even made the top 20.
Yeah.
But if you look in those top guys, every single one of them's a killer.
Oh man,
it's like
I mean, you got Gustafsson just chilling.
Yeah,
and he's a ridiculous fighter.
And what is he? I think is he 6 now or something?
6, but I think that's just due to like the fact that
exactly.
Fought, like,
he lost
DC,
those guys,
close
and look at him. He's number 6, and I consider him one of the best dudes. So I don't know. There's a lot of opportunity, but also
the good thing is like you have 2 wins and you can be there because John Jones has been so dominant and people have been beaten underneath him. So like. Once they've been beaten by him, they can't just keep throwing them to him.
Exactly.
So there might be there is a chance for a guy to come like 2 fights and jump straight into that spot because they're like, well, John Jones has beaten DC, Rumble lost to DC, he's beaten Gustafsson, so there's heaps.
And like I hope I get to train with him when I go back because he's just started his camp as well. And
he's at Jackson's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I only saw him on like Friday nights, I think, with like wrestling.
It's ridiculous.
And stuff like that. But
what was it? What was the most? I guess I don't know if you would be starstruck, but have the most moment where you've been like, man, I really always wanted to meet this guy, and I got to meet him.
No, I don't really get starstruck, especially with the MMA fighters.
Because you just know what it's like.
Even grew up with James when he's always been like famous around in Australia.
Yeah.
So and it's just like as a friend, and even now that I'm in the spot, you know what it's like when people come up and ask you photos and stuff like that. But I think like one of them that got me was. Oh, actually, I really liked doing with Joe Rogan in the post fight. That was cool.
Really? Yeah, what was that like?
Yeah, that was cool. And
what's he like in person? Because I love it. His podcast is an inspiration for this.
Yeah, exactly.
He inspired hundreds of podcasts.
Yeah, it was cool. Hopefully, I get to get on his podcast one day.
Man.
I'd love to do that.
100%. Just keep knocking blokes out, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Just keep knocking blokes out.
And I took a photo with Tyrone Spong as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love Tyrone. So love all his docos.
What's been the most surprising thing about being in the UFC?
I think people underestimate how rich we are.
Overestimate.
Oh, overestimate.
Yeah,
sorry,
I was going to say underestimate. That's a friggin' good thing.
Yeah, no, sorry. Overestimate. Everyone thinks like, oh, man, you've had 2 fights. Where's your Lambo? Sort of thing. So,
sweet.
Well, where yours is.
Nowhere to be seen. So is that something that like you hope changes in the future, that eventually that you guys get more share of the revenue that is generated?
I was trying to explain to it because like people are like, we should be getting paid like NFL and stuff like that, but we don't have a professional system. Like we don't go okay, you have to go through college or stuff to become a pro. Like they can just call you up like they did me and go, hey, you want to shot at the big shot.
And if you don't take it, see you later.
Yeah. And they don't, like in NFL, who are you going to go, okay, that guy on the street, let's get him in because he looks fast.
Yeah, it's so true, very true.
So that's one reason why I think, and like being a team sport, but also like I hope it does increase because people, the like average person, I don't think realizes how much goes into our camps. Like how much I got paid in this fight after paying coaches and stuff, I would have made under half of what I paid for my camp. So
as in your camp costs more than half of that what you got paid?
Yeah, so I made less than half. So that's I paid crazy. I think like close to 35,000 for my camp.
Yep.
And less than half.
That's
so and but like with even with rugby league, as you know, like the your coaching staff, your physios, your strength and conditioning coaches, all of this stuff's covered, and they like that all comes in under the team. Whereas me, if I do that, I've got to pay that coach, I've got to pay that for that camp, I've got to pay for my nutrition, so like a physio, medical, everything, it all adds up. Yep. So like not complaining because it's up to me now. Like I've had 2 fights now, and then I can have another two, and then I'm getting paid good money. So it's up to me, and I completely understand that. But like I don't think people understand for those lower end fighters how little they do make in comparison.
100%, because they just see the end result and they're like, oh sweet, you fought twice. That should equal this, like 150 or whatever. You should be stoked, man, 150. But they don't realize that 100 grand of that is going to like jiu-jitsu, boxing, wrestling, maybe Muay Thai.
And then you save some money for your next camp as well, so putting it to... Unless you get awesome sponsors, like that does help. Hopefully I'm going to speak to a couple of sponsors. I got one, Muscle Bros and CJ Nielsen, Shogun Martial Arts. They put money towards my camps, so that helps. But like again, you want that sponsor that you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, 100%. So what's been the toughest time in your career? You know, we speak about all these positives and stuff like that. Actually, sorry, how did your second fight come about?
I was going to Jackson's just for a training camp. I just wanted to go fill it out because I didn't know sometimes with training camps you might not get along with the coaches, or so it was like sort of more of a feeler camp. And I was on my way over there for just like 4 weeks, get to know them. And Zen called me a week before and goes, "Hey, do you want to fight on?" It was actually New York first. I think it was New York. It was between New York, Texas, and Houston.
As in New York 208, 207, sorry?
I believe it was, yeah. So it was between
home
all of them.
Versus the enemy?
So that was going to be a shorter notice one. And I was like, I want to go to New York. My wife, Rosie, she wanted to go to New York.
Yeah, 100%. Probably glad you didn't. It's supposed to be really expensive there.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah,
well, I ended up going to, and then I was like, no, I would rather Las Vegas. I've always wanted to fight in Las Vegas. I was actually hoping it was going to be at MGM, even though T-Mobile was awesome. Yeah. Like, I've always wanted to fight at MGM. So, and Japan or Asia, that's one other place I want to fight at. But yeah, that's what happened. Got the call up, said, do you want to fight this guy on this date? And I ended up just staying over there for my camp and really enjoyed it. So.
And take us through that. Take us through the first fight. You know, so for people that are watching that didn't see the first fight, you got days in the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was pretty early. He ran in, took control of the center. Beforehand, I didn't have any sparring with proper southpaws. Oh, shit. So, I had 3 weeks leading up to it. I know how to fight a southpaw, but even when you don't spar, you need that. Just a reminder. Even when I was working with one of my old boxing managers, he was telling me, we went over it 100 times, but until you get him punched by a southpaw, it really doesn't, it makes sense to move that way naturally. You always move the other way. So, we went over it. Didn't do it. Let him square right up, put his foot on the outside of my left foot, and just lined his hips straight left. Yeah. So with the southpaw, you always want to have your foot on the outside, and to stop them from squaring up the hips,
and you want to try
go
and
towards
the
hook. But I let him step right on the outside, square his hips right up for a perfect left, right on my chin.
On the chin.
Luckily, it wasn't, I don't think, as big as a shot as everyone thought it was. Like, I sort of tucked my chin at the last second, and it was more of a surprise shot. It was one of those don't blink hits. And so, you can tell because I was still there and, full eye contact. Then I just grabbed him, got the double unders, and went to the ground and sort of controlled him from there. It was actually those little punches he was doing that really pissed me off.
Oh, really? Really?
We're up against the cage, and he was just going bang, bang, and that's why my eye got so messed up. It wasn't the big shots. He was doing these little rabbit punches, and that's why afterwards I was saying how hard he hit, because he only had that much distance to cover. I was like, he must have the strongest biceps in the world or something, because he's rocking my face.
Just killing you. He was just killing you, bro. It's killing for stereo. So you got him to the ground, and then your jiu-jitsu was just, you choked him.
Rear naked. Yeah. And like he was actually really strong. Like afterwards he goes, "Man, you're really strong," and I was like, "Well, thank you."
Thanks,
but
bro.
I thought you were strong because
yeah.
like I grabbed him and he just sat like straight up. Like so, I think he's a powerlifter or something. But yeah, it was perfect experience because I got to experience the good and the bad. I don't think I would have got the bonus if I didn't get punched in the face like that and come back. So
that bonus got you 50 grand or whatever.
Well, that's what helped me get through this camp. Otherwise, it would have been a hard.
Punch me in the face again, bro.
Yeah, please. As well, this fight, I was like, someone just hurt me real bad.
I've gone back again. So it was your proficiency in jiu-jitsu that got you won you that fight. That won you that fight rather than just, brute strength kind of thing.
Yeah, and like I think people underestimate still a bit, like because I look tall and lanky.
Yeah.
Like I think they underestimate like that I'm a bit heavier on top.
Yeah.
But like, even with John Jones, they go, look how skinny he is, but you see him control people, and that looks like
when he took down DC that time.
Yeah, and he must be so strong. So
yeah. Yeah, so he got the job done. Okay, so the next fight. How did the next fight? So we went to that. So the next fight, you got him in was it the crucifix?
The crucifix, yeah.
So walk us through that fight. Were you surprised at how much stronger you you seemed a lot stronger than him? Was that a surprise for you, or how?
Yeah, it was a little bit. Like I've said to everyone, it was the first fight where someone really gave me smack talk and like sort of gave me a bit of back and forth. So I liked it because it's just like Sydney, or Australians. Everyone goes back and forth with each other.
Bit of banter.
Yeah, so that was cool. And but there was like a couple of things where he was like, "Oh, I'm going to kick him in the dick," or kick a dick. Yeah, I got a Twitter thing and said, "Hey man, you better wear a cup because he's been hashtagging kick a dick." And I put on Sherdog and I was like, if this guy kicks me in the dick, I was like, I'm just going to drive my shin straight into his nutsack and wrap his balls around my calf because I was like, I'm not copping that. I was like,
kick in a dick.
Yeah, I think so what happened is he was like, I'm a dick and he's going to kick me. But it got construed and then like people were going on Twitter, he's going to kick you in the dick. And then I got pumped up because I was like, no one's kicking me in the dick.
Look, you can punch me in the face.
Yeah, I was like, go for it.
Don't touch my dick.
The worst thing about it, I watched the fight back, and that right that I dropped him with the I think it was the second right I dropped him with it.
Yeah,
he's gone for like a sort of half teep kick, and it kicked me straight in the ball. And I was like,
gotcha.
I watched it, and I go, he actually kicked me in the dick. I was like so angry when I watched that because like even in training, if someone hits me in the nuts, it happened at Jackson's. Yeah. One of the guys kicked me in the nuts like straight on, and I was like, if you kick me in the nuts, I've got about 3 seconds to kick you back before I drop.
Yeah.
So like he kicked me, and then I'll just go bang, and I'll just kick you straight back in the nuts because I was even like I hope because you've got that little bit of delay. So I always try and if you give it to me, you're gonna get like a quick one. Had a couple real bad ones, man. I don't know how they always end up. I got one from an uppercut. Like
someone uppercut your dick
right behind my box in training. Like they came up from behind and it hit behind the box. I was like, "How are you even that low?" I was like, they panic so much. They go like, bang straight. I was like, and then you just go, "But give him one back," and then you drop.
Then you're both on the ground like that. So you won the fight, but he won the real fight because he did what he won. He
said what he was going to do.
So he's one up in the Dick Federation, Dick Kicking Federation. You're one up in UFC Federation.
Yeah, he got me.
That's so weird. It's so weird. Yeah. So who's someone that's been an inspiration for you growing up? Who's someone that you looked to and you wanted to emulate? Or I mean, obviously you got your father. What's something that
there's a lot of people that like. I always look up to like all the coaches and stuff and people that help you, and you're always trying to like gain a little bit of knowledge from each person that you reach. But I've always looked up to James Tuhuna because I grew up with him and seeing him go on the stage, and like even I've still got these UFC shorts that him and Ross Pearson signed for me, saying "Dream big and you'll achieve it" as well. Yep. So it's like stuff like that. But like at the same thing, like you can't really look too much for other people for motivation. I think like people always like trying to like I read those motivational books or get motivated. I was like, it's sort of got to come from you, like for it to really happen.
Especially in a solo sport.
Yeah, exactly.
You need
you have a good team, but when you're in there, like you don't hear a lot of what's coming out. So, but by the time your corner's there, they really can't tell you much that's going to change what's happening in the fight.
100%. And if 2017 is perfect for you, let's say everything happens that you want to happen, where are you going to be sitting at the end of 2017?
Man, I haven't written up my goals that much, but
sorry, bro.
no, that's all right. You're putting me on the spot here. So I think we were trying to get a fight for Auckland. That hasn't been confirmed yet, and like I've still got to get my hand checked to get medically cleared and my foot. So I don't know. I might even have to push that back. I wanted to fight it at maybe 5 weeks after that, but then I think there's a Sydney show in November as well. So that's 2 big fights, good fights that if I get once I get those on board, that could even catapult me to another top ranking.
Where would you want to be ranking wise if you had a perfect year and you're like, this is the progression of my career? Where would the perfect spot you'd want to be?
Still just in the top 15, to be honest. Because if John Jones does come back, I'll be ranked number 16 again. So I don't reckon being 2-0. Like I told you, my fighting style is not coming out at the moment comfortably. Yep. So I wouldn't mind getting another fight around the people at that number. That because there's no point in me jumping in the deep end to go top 15 and fight after the first 2 fights in 100%. There. So I definitely want to fight all of those guys in there. I can't wait to. Yep. But do I believe that I deserve the top 15 at the moment in comparison to people that have been there for not at all?
Yeah. So you're patient, just be patient. Yeah. We'll work our way to it. We've got plenty of time.
Everything's happened for a reason so far, even the timing and stuff like that. So I don't need to push anything. I'm not trying to, I eventually want to get that, but at the moment, I'm just cruising through.
Yeah, I mean, you got you don't want to, you go too early and then you have 2 losses and before you know your confidence is rattled.
Exactly. And so what happens if I jump up to those top 10, top 15 guys who want to just need a filler or something like that? Yeah. I can hold my own with them now. I definitely could, but I want to go in there and just destroy it.
Okay. And it's if it's going to happen, if you can hold your own now, you may as well wait until you're sure of yourself, even though you probably already are. But do you know what I mean? And then just be dominant instead of maybe. Sure. And actually, just for the footy fans that listen to this, who's your footy team?
I don't really have one. Everyone keeps asking who's my team. Yeah. Like I said, I don't watch much sports, but because my cousins play Dallin Zelezniak and Malachi, Penrith Panthers, they play for him. So if I think they're playing tonight, I might go head down and watch him. Yep. Go get some support, but
get some awkward fans maybe hitting you up.
100%. Going to give me the eye. Hopefully they watch this beforehand, so they don't give me the eyeball.
And I ask all the guests this: favorite rapper of all time.
Oh. Should have given me a couple of days to play it. Man, I couldn't even. I honestly could not pick one at the moment.
When I asked you that question, who clicked into your head?
Well, I always listened to Tupac growing up, but now there's people I like Chance the Rapper and a couple new guys coming through.
Not like Lil Yachty and that.
No way.
Oh my god, thank God! I was about to kick you off. I was about to delete this whole fucking interview.
I can't listen to it. Everyone keeps going, listen to this one from him. I was like, no, I can't do it.
Oh my god! The famous people in that situation should be the producers, because all that's happening right now is mad beats being made. Yeah. Can you imagine if Drake had, if Tupac and that had those beats? Drake's new albums, Drake, I don't mind Drake. Yeah, just a bit soft though.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I like some of Drake's stuff as well.
Who I've been appreciating a bit lately that has lost a lot of his appreciation because of the things he's done is Kanye West.
Yeah, true. What's the song that I've been listening to? Is it Ultralight Beam?
Oh yeah.
I don't mind that song. I've been listening to that a bit.
He's a genius, bro. We forget how much he changed the scene.
Just because he went with the Kardashians, it threw him.
Just saying the shit he says. You don't need to say, you can say you're a mad rapper, but you can't say you're Leonardo da Vinci of this time. You can't call yourself God or Jesus. Come on, bro. So I've been a bit into him lately because I've been he is a genius. When you watch, I was watching interviews of him before all this shit happened, and he's real calm, and he's just talking about it, and he's a genuine genius, bro. Yeah. Genuine genius. Okay, you're a movie guy. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh man, these are all because I've got a list that I'll just watch over and over again. One that I just recently watched, I love Last Samurai, Snatch.
So good. Snatch. And Last Samurai.
What's another Leonardo
Lock, Stock,
da Vinci one?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I can't.
Wolf of Wall Street.
No,
Shutter Island?
The Departed.
Yeah,
movies like that. Love those ones.
So do I. So
watch
good.
them over again.
Have you seen Shutter Island?
Yeah, that's another good one. I like those. What do you reckon? Inception, stuff like that.
Spoiler alert, anyone that's watching. But at the end of Shutter Island, do you reckon he knew what was going on, or do you reckon he was crazy?
I have no idea.
I reckon
you obviously have a good opinion on this.
I love movies. I've got an opinion on this. I reckon he knew and he just wanted to die because he couldn't live with he couldn't live with the fact that his wife had killed his kids.
I do remember that. I was trying to think of it, but yeah, I do agree with that. Even in Inception, about when they spin the tack and then go away. I hate movies that end like that.
Oh, so I reckon. What's my thoughts of that? I reckon he's in a dream because after the bathroom, you never see him spin it again. Like, you never see it drop after the bathroom. Yeah. So I think he's still in a dream. So hectic, that movie. How good was that movie,
All
bro?
of them. There's one that I don't know. There's a couple movies coming out. Like John Wick 2. Have you seen that?
No, but I want to.
Because it came out in the States, but it hasn't come out in Australia.
I've illegally downloaded it. I'm a gangster, bro. I'm a gangster.
Can I cut? I have no affiliation with the with this criminal activity.
You know, my old like joke pickup line was like, to chicks, I'd be like, I just go to the pen. And they'd be like, what would you do? Burning DVDs.
Mad, God. $100,000 in fines.
Burning DVDs. Burning DVDs.
Couldn't pay the fines.
Downloading music illegally. That's what I was in jail for. If you could have a billboard anywhere saying anything, what would it be?
I really wish you gave me prep time for these questions.
No, bro.
No, we're just going to have to sit here in silence while I think of some cool...
All right, we'll ask you a question that you should know. Is there any fighter that you want to fight? If you could have choose who you fought next, who would you choose to fight next?
Well, that's funny because my manager just called me up before this one saying...
really?
So, I don't really... Like I said, because I don't watch many of the fights, I don't really know a lot of the guys in... I know, now, Jim, even Manuel, I've only just found out about them and Anderson because he fought them. But so that's the only reason I've just known about those guys. I only knew about top 5, but... the guys that they're sending me through, I have no idea who they are. So, the names... So my coaches go and that's nothing against them. I'm sure they're skilled guys. I just don't like watching it. So my coaches go through it and they go, "This will be a good fight for you. This will be a good fight for you. This is what kind of way do you want to go there?" And we go from there. So I honestly don't want any fights. Eventually, I want to fight for the belt. That's always the goal. But
you're going to be rocking up for the world title fight, not knowing who the champion is.
Which one was this?
So the good thing is you can say, "Look, I bash people anonymously."
Yeah,
like anonymous bashing people because you don't actually care. You hate people equally.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, bro. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It's I can't wait to watch the next kind of 12 months of your career just to see. 2 wins going so well. So yeah, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you for having me, man. It's been fun. Nice to do it on a podcast. Haven't done that before.
Haven't done a podcast before. Oh, well, you're on the biggest one in Australia at the moment. Yeah. All right. Thanks, brother. What's up, guys? Looking to create a new account with William Hill? For the first $50 you deposit, you receive a $150 bonus bet or have your initial deposit matched. Inbox me for details.